up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of Chicken Bone Alley presented by SRI Performance, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, and Draco Springs. I'm David.
I'm Sterling. What's up, guys and girls?
And on the line here we got our, I guess we'll just say now, our part-time co-host.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
I dig that.
Mr. Derek Griffith, what's up, buddy?
Derek Griffith, what's going on, man?
What's going on, boys?
I don't know it, man.
Living the dream, man. You know how it is, right?
Living the dream. I like that.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Good. We got to run over at Kentucky Speedway, flew on back Sunday, and had a little bit of a relaxing day catching up. But, all around pretty good weekend. Got to first time out that way, so pretty cool deal.
Sweet, man.
It was a little more exciting than mine was this past weekend, but it was 315 degrees down here, so we couldn't do a whole lot outside. I'll be honest with you.
It was hot, man. Me and Sterling, I don't know if we've ever told you this, Derek, but on the side, we own a DJ company. Actually, we DJ weddings. And have a photo booth and all that good stuff. So it's called R&R Sounds. Well, this weekend we've had our second wedding of the year. Actually, first one was in February, 1st of February, and it has been. We hadn't have another one until now in July. Well, they decided to have an outdoor wedding in July in South Carolina. What were they thinking, dude? It was hot. Hot.
Jeez, I could imagine. Those poor bridesmen and all that in those suits, probably sweating like a pig.
Oh yes. Luckily the ceremony did not last too long, thankfully, and the reception was inside. So at least we had that. That was good. But it was. You never know what you're going to see at a wedding. You know how that is. So it was a good time.
Probably the most fun I've ever had drinking was at a wedding. I was the best man at one of my buddies' weddings, and man, we had so much fun. I couldn't believe it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely right.
That's always the fun part when you can be in the wedding. Since we've started working at them, it ends up being.
If you do 30 weddings a year, you don't want to see a wedding.
Yeah, we have to start drinking too to put up with the people there.
I'm usually the guy throwing the beers to the guys DJ and trying to get them out there dancing, doing some crazy stuff.
See, we need you at some weddings.
Come
That's
on
what
down,
we
hang
need.
out with us.
I know who to call if we ever get married. We'll see about that. Quite a bit away.
Oh yeah,
we'll work it out.
I know a guy.
Yeah, that's sweet, man. Yeah, we did that, and we actually took the boat out. Took the kids out riding Sunday a little bit. So that was fun. They wanted to get in the water and play, so had to do that. They enjoyed it, but other than that was about it.
Yeah. Well, so after that, how's everybody's work week been? How about you, Derek?
Pretty good so far. Just keeping busy. Got a couple cars landing from the land of the rising sun there, Japan, and getting those things up from Baltimore. Trying to get stuff squared away, and selling some stuff. So Toyota Supras and a couple of 300ZX cars, and just staying busy. Trying to stay busy is all.
There you go. Speaking of 300ZXs real quick, I remember when I wasn't about 3 or 4 years old, actually. My dad had somehow, I have no clue how he got this car, but he had somehow acquired a twin turbo 300ZX. Dude, that was one of the fastest little cars I remember in my life. That thing was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they go pretty good. We got a purple one here, a midnight purple, which is a factory Nissan color, and it's got a bunch of work done to it, but we ran it on the dynos. They made 373 horsepower. The thing's 20. It's a 1990, so 30 years old. The thing makes almost 400 horsepower to the wheels. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, for a car that weighs nothing.
Yeah,
that's insane.
That's
crazy. That's crazy. Well, I know you had. Well, we're gonna go back a little bit farther because we ain't talked to you here in a couple of weeks. Last time we talked to you, you were headed out to Lucas Oil Speedway out there in Indianapolis area there, and tell us about that whole race. We know you had some issues there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, unfortunately had some issues. We unloaded just like super like dump truck tight, and we only get 45 minutes of practice. So worked on that thing, got it good, and let me tell you what, we got that thing like real good.
I can tell.
We go out there for qualifying. You guys got me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just make sure. Yeah, they. I mean, like, I'll tell you, we had this thing hooked up. So go out for qualifying, and I'm like 4/10 faster than everyone that's been out there already. So I run my first lap and get a little bit loose into turn one, and I probably would have ripped off a little bit better of a lap on my second lap. And they just came over the radio. They're like, "Hey, pull it in. You know, it's just don't kill it." Ended up 4th or 5th qualified. You know, on one lap, which is pretty good. And
Yep.
we went out, you know, start 5th, I think, and start rolling, just trying to get into a rhythm. And lap 9, the power steering pump shits to bed. So we're like, oh man, you know, it was a long 200 lap race. You know, it was around. So we lose power steering around lap 9, lap 25. We had some other mechanical issues with the truck arms. So I just held on for that first 70 lap segment where, you know, I just held on. I just didn't want to go a lap down. So we come in, they fix that issue in the back there with the truck arms, go back out, run another 70 laps with no power steering. But I got a pit road penalty. So I had to start, you know, 19th. And I roll my way all the way up to 5th with no power steering. I mean, I'll tell you what, that thing is heavy car to be driving with.
How's your arm feel? Yeah, how'd your arms feel after that?
Oh man, I've never been that worn out after getting out of a race car my whole life. And I've driven, you know, we run the Derby, we run a lot of races. I was tired. I felt it for like 4 days after. I'm like, man, I need to hit the gym, I guess. So that was the big bummer. And they come over the radio. It's a 200 lap race, and they come on the radio on that one of those breaks with like lap 140 or 160 or something like that. And they're like, hey, what are you going to do to win this race? I'm like, some power steering. I need some power steering, because I'd get it back for like 4 or 5 laps. And the thing, I'd be 2.5 tenths faster than the leader. And then I'd lose it, and I'd be 2.5 tenths slower than the leader. So, you know, we come in, they're like, hey, we're going to try something. So on that break, you know, shut it down, pull on pit road, and just chill out for a minute. So they tried to change the power steering pump on the motor, and they just, you know, it was so close to working, but the socket on the impact gun wouldn't fit through the new pulley on the new pump.
Man.
So we lost around, I think it was like 10 laps on pit road trying to get that pump on. And, you know, we roll back out there, and I was already, you know, 10 laps down, but I'm like, you know, I kind of wanted something. I felt like I had something to prove a little bit. So I drove out where like 10th was on the racetrack, and I drove all the way to 5th, you know, 10 laps down. And the guy, I was half a second faster than the guy in 5th. And he was just blocking me high and low. And they just came over the radio like, hey, you know, just, it's not our day. Just, you know, drive around till this race is over. So that was kind of a, you know, let down for sure, because we had a car by the end there when we had tires, power steering, and everything squared away. I mean, we were, you know, 3.5 tenths faster than the leaders on their best laps. So
Jesus,
we had a car, and it just didn't show. So, you know, but it happens. It's racing. You know,
that's racing.
Yeah, it definitely is. But guys, that's a heartbreak there, man. When you know you got that good of a car.
Yeah, it's one thing when you brake and you're already slower. It's just like, whatever. But when you know you're faster, that just eats at you, man. I've been there.
Yep, it definitely is. We, you know, and you know, obviously you can't. That was the same car we ran at New Smyrna, so I know the car is good, and you know, it just racing deal. The pump, he said it just spit all. I pulled in on one of the pit stops, and they filled it up with power steering fluid, and it spit it all right out. I don't know what was going on with it, but it just, one of those things, it just happens. So,
and you just wonder how those guys did it back in 60s and 70s, which, I mean, I know that, a car that's built without power steering, it turns a lot easier than one that's built with it, and then it goes out. But I'm telling you. But
it's funny. We have an older fella that stops by all the time. His name's Bobby Dean, and I mean, he's been racing up here since the 50s. I think he started racing, and I mean, he's got stories and pictures and all this and that. He shows me some of the cars they have, and I'm like, he talks about how he had no power steering. Then I see the front tires are like pizza cutters. They're like 2 inches wide. I'm like, well, yeah, of course you can steer the damn things with no power steering with 2-inch tires on the thing. So I give him a hard time over that, but it's the stories he has is unreal.
Well, that is sweet, man. I was sure pulling for you there, and I hate all the bad luck come up, but I hope you can get all those. Shouldn't be many more bugs left. You get them all worked out, and hey, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, it come back around and had a pretty good showing this past weekend there in Kentucky.
Yeah, not bad. I tell, I want to win really at the end of the day, or at least really compete for a win. So for me, it's a little disappointing to finish P7, but it's so tough with all the COVID stuff going on. So we show up, Saturday early, 7:30 in the morning. We don't, hit the racetrack till, noon or whatever. So I help them get all squared away, ready to get racing. And then we go out and there's an hour-long practice, but, that's 20 laps, 25 laps, because we're making changes. I go out there, the tires rubbing, we kind of got to get this thing squared away. And 25 laps at a place like that, it was just not enough. I ran my fastest laps, so the whole entire race on the last 3 laps were my fastest laps of the whole race. Wow. So I need some seat time really. So what's good is a place like Kentucky, the 1 and 2 is very similar to how Kansas is and the whole racetrack. So that's our next track, and that's where, I guess, I'll benefit from that, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and you just talked about you want to win, and trust me, I want you to win too. I promise I do. But realistically, as far as Chad Bryant Racing, what are y'all's goals when y'all go to the track? Because I mean, I know. Don't get me wrong. I know that is a awesome operation you guys got over there, but it's tough. At the end of the day, when you look at it and come down to it, it's tough to compete with the Gibbs out there, with the DGR Crosleys and stuff like that, with their multi-car teams and all that stuff out there. So what are y'all's actual goals at the end of the day?
It's hard to say. I think just to be competitive, they're as competitive as anyone, and to win races and do good is obviously what they want and what we want, but for a realistic expectation, I think it's just that for us to kind of have just a good showing, to race, kind of have some, spotlight time and do good. I mean, I think I personally think that if we can go to any short track and roll out there with a car like we had at New Smyrna or Lucas Oil, we're going to be a threat for sure. It's just these bigger tracks. I mean, they were clocking guys doing 183 miles an hour down the front stretch at Kentucky, and you drive through 1 and 2 and you don't lift. You hold it wide open through the corner. Now, I don't know, I've never ever thought to myself that would be a good idea on any sort of race car or racetrack anywhere. So, just training myself to drive those cars how they need to be driven is something that kind of has to get done. Hopefully quicker than normal. Ty Gibbs went and tested at Kentucky 10 times within the last year. And that's a cup level team at an ARCA level. So, we're competing against guys like that. And, Chad's definitely got his stuff together, and he's, one of the top guys in ARCA for sure. And, but, it's just one of those things. We just got to kind of get a little seat time and square it away from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, y'all pretty much running quicker than the Cup cars, so that's got to be a big learning, or I don't know how, like you say, running 183 down in the corners. That's intense to not. have enough seat time to be comfortable doing it. So, like you say, I mean, the more laps you got under your belt, the quicker you got. So, but how did it? And I saw a lot of watching the truck race and the Xfinity race and all the VHT, the sticky stuff, whatever they call it. How much different was that from the bottom to being in the VHT?
It seemed like they put it down. I mean, I've watched a ton of these races before getting there. I mean, I watched ARCA races, I watched, Xfinity races, truck races. It seemed like the bottom was the place to be. And we roll in, and they had those two Xfinity races before the ARCA race, and it was weird. It was weird to watch people run the top. So, I think that traction compound kind of really changed the whole drive of the whole entire racetrack. I mean, if you weren't up in that traction compound, you were just off. You were just off pace, and it's just how it is. I don't know exactly why. And then it seemed like it kind of pulled around a little bit on the racetrack here and there, but it was the place to be. It changed that track to be a kind of a one lane, roll the middle, the racetrack, left tires kind of in the gray, right tires in the goop, and it was interesting to see how much different it was really than it was before.
Right. Well, it seemed to me like and I know a lot of tracks have done it. They put the traction compound for a second groove, and it always eliminates the previous groove. Seems like so. I wish they could work that out to where the bottom and top would work equally.
I was listening to another podcast, Door Bumper Clear, yesterday, I think it was, and I know NASCAR somehow gets all the figures of how much more traction, how much more grip or bite that the sticky stuff area has than the other parts of the track. They said this track had 17% more bite in it than the non-sticky part of it. 17% is a ton.
That's a ton.
They were talking about it was only going to take 2% more to run the same exact lap times from the top to the bottom. And somehow something happened, and they got 17% more. So, ARCA race wasn't so bad. Truck race wasn't so bad. When you got to other races, that makes it just like a freight train around there because everybody's in one spot on the track.
Yeah, exactly. I think that if they would have been a lot better off if they ran it all the way to the white line.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
I think that definitely would have helped. And I noticed, I don't know if y'all had any issues with it, but it looked like they were cording tires in the Xfinity race. I don't know if that was until that got worked in or what. I from what I understand, and Derek, you could probably tell me, but that traction compound is heat sensitive. So the more heat you get in it, the better it works. Is that how it works?
Exactly. Yep. And the more you work it, the better it's going to be until it's completely worn out. But you usually they tell you the first time you're up in that stuff, it's slippery. You got to wait. You got to wait till it's worked in, or you got to work it in little by little by little, and then all of a sudden there's a whole groove there. So that's what I've been told at least, and I haven't been unlucky enough to feel it slippery yet, because usually when you get up in there and it's slippery, you're tore up. So it's a crazy thing. You think it would be right off the bat sticky, but I guess not.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting. But like you say, it definitely changes. I mean, like you say, you go back and watch videos, you study the racetracks, and then they end up putting all this traction compound on that. Totally changes everything. The whole dynamic of the race.
Dynamic of the whole race. And another question for you, and this goes back for Lucas Oil Raceway and Kentucky there. And I know you've probably raced a few more tracks in late models and stuff. They're a little different. But, most of the tracks that we watch, especially around here short track-wise, the groove is always on the bottom of the track. Always just dead in the bottom on the white line. How different is it for you, especially as you come up from late models and stuff too, where that was mostly what you run? How different is it for you to go to a track like Lucas Oil even, and like Kentucky when they had the sticky stuff on there, and you got to come up off the bottom. How different is that to change?
It's definitely goofy. We have some tracks up here that kind of do the same thing, but it's not quite the same. I tend to, when I run my super at least, run this line. Like I don't know why or how, but this has just been programmed into me or whatever. I always try to come up off like real low in the corner and straight as could be. I want to drive straight to the wall. I don't want to come up off wide open, holding the wheel, just waiting for me to get real close to the wall to let off. And I hate doing that. I want to get the car turned and drive it up off the bottom straight to the wall, not let the car drift out to the wall or do anything like that. And I think I find myself kind of doing some weird stuff with this ARCA car because of that. You know, at such a big racetrack where momentum is so key, you can't kind of slow the car down to get it straight up off because you're making the car slow down too much. You know, at a place like a quarter-mile bullring, half-mile, bullring, it's not going to matter. But a mile-and-a-half racetrack with restrictor plates, it is going to matter. So I think that's part of my deal too. But it is different kind of driving in the top side, and every corner kind of seems to have its own line to run, and it's just very different than what I'm used to.
Oh yeah. So basically, overall, your first trip driving on a mile and a half there of Kentucky, how do you assess your first outing on? I know you went to Pocono, which was a longer track, but that's just a animal of its own. But how you assess your performance there on a mile and a half?
All around, I think it was good. All around good. Mediocre good. But I think I even talked to Ty. Ty Majeski was there, and he talked to me because he had worked with Chad and done some stuff, and he's like, "This is the toughest, probably the toughest racetrack on the ARCA tour." He's like, "This track is gonna." He's like, "You're not just gonna go out there and be fast. Like this place is very hard." So that was a little bit good to hear that from someone like him who's had a chance to win a race there a couple times, and and obviously he's a shoe. It's not unheard of for him to be up on the board and doing good. So to hear that from him was a little good after the race. But I don't know. It's one of those things. I wish we had done a little better, but I learned a lot from that and Pocono. So I'm ahead really as far as I see it now. I'm seeing these next races as like my first race. So
right, especially with the next mile and a half coming up, that's going to help you tremendously, I believe.
Well, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, dude, you go out there and your first race is actually in the ARCA series, and you run top tens every time, just top tens, but you've been, at Lucas, you probably could have won the race had it not been for power steering pump, most likely, in my opinion. And you run 7th place at Kentucky and 7th at Pocono, and dude, that's impressive stats to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
absolutely.
So it's definitely not bad.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, we definitely want the win. I know it's just frustrating because I see a lot of the people that are racing the series, and I don't mean it in like a cocky way or like a bad way, but I'm like, man, I've whooped up on these guys like before, like multiple times, and they just have so much more seat time than I do, and which is obviously a big deal in these cars. But I'm like, man, like even like that, Sam Mayer is a hell of a driver in those stock cars, but like, I mean, we raced with him at Speed Weeks, we raced with him all over, and he like just was never all that great in the super, not in like any bad way or anything like that. Just he actually, funny enough, we were sitting at Kentucky, and he came over to me and talked to me. I'm like, man, it's so much different than the other cars I run. He's like, yeah. He's like, I like these cars a lot more. He's like, I friggin' sucked in a super. He's like, that was horrible. He's like, I like these things so much more, and I'm fit. They're fitting on my driving style so much more. And, everything is just so different, though. And for me, I'm kind of involved with my own super deal, so I have an understanding on how it works and everything. And looking at how these cars work, they're even like I wouldn't even know where to begin to I've been learning a little bit with changes wise, but I wouldn't even know where to begin to be like, hey, change this or that, or the truck
Right.
arm shim's got to change. I don't know what to do yet. So it's just a big learning curve. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I don't have a lot of shots at it. So I just got to kind of prove a little bit more these upcoming races. And I think we're in much better shape now. We get to see time, been to hopefully one of the toughest racetracks that we'll ever be at, and do okay. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm hopeful. I think we'll have a good run.
Well,
You
you,
got it, man.
you definitely got a lot of reason to be confident, and I know there's a lot of people looking at you that's confident in you as well. So they seeing it too. So that is absolutely cool, man. I'm proud to see you doing so well for sure.
I'll tell you a little story, and I don't know if you know who he is or not. You may, but back early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, me and Sterling were both racing go-karts at a national level at that point. And this kid that was our age at the time, his name's Chad McCumbee. And
I've heard that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he I actually sent him a photo not long ago of a magazine where I think I was third in points, he was fourth in points. So I know exactly what you mean, talking about like you and Sam there. And because Chad ended up moving up, went through Xfinity, I think it was still Busch then, maybe, I don't know, Nationwide something. He actually ended up running, who was it, Kyle Petty's car, I think it was. Kyle Petty was out for something. He ended up racing the Cup car for Kyle Petty for quite a few. I think his actual first race was at Pocono. I remember that because I remember watching it. And I'm like, man, it's one of them things. It's like I was outrunning him a few years ago.
Yeah, he got the break. I didn't. Yeah.
But that's how it is. That's how it is, man. So we got complete confidence in you, and I know you you should have the confidence in you because you know you can do it, and so it's gonna all come together. But anyway, I know you got some stuff coming up this weekend too. What you got going on?
We are working on our super to get ready for our Oxford 250 run here. It's about a month away, so we're kind of just. We got a pass race up there at Oxford, and we ran really good up there last year, those last few races, and even at the 250 and stuff. And we haven't run there yet this year. I'm really not a huge fan of the racetrack, but when that place puts on I'll tell you, I know the Snowball Derby is like a huge deal. It is the biggest race, super late model race in the country, but I'll tell you, if you guys get a chance to come up to the 250, it is unreal. It is probably one of the coolest experiences that you'll get on a super late model, they call them pro stocks, whatever, up here. There's nothing like 43 super late models on the racetrack, 4, 5 wide racing for 250 laps. It's just, and Oxford is not fun to race on, but it's fun to watch. The place, when you have a good car, it's fun to race on, but the place is unreal to watch. It's just such a cool experience. I mean, the amount of people that go there, the talent that goes there, everything involved with that 250 deal is. I mean, previous winners like Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, and there's a lot of good guys that have won that race. So.
Most definitely, and I know you talk about it sucks to drive. I've only ran it on iRacing, and it sucks on there, so
Absolutely.
I could imagine.
Same thing.
I could imagine it's awful.
The same. It sucks.
But it's such a cool looking track, and I've watched on YouTube and everything else the Oxford 250s from there, and just like you said, that track puts on some awesome racing.
We're going to have to get up there for sure and check that out. I want to get there and Snowball for sure. Definitely going to have to go.
We're going to have to get there, and Derek's going to put us to work.
Put us to work. I'll clean the car or something for you.
We'll do something. Yeah, that's cool. And I'll tell you, the Oxford 250 party is unreal. Friday, Saturday night, you guys will have more fun than you would ever imagine. I know the Snowball Derby at the I forget, Beef O'Brady party was pretty cool and all that. Now, like the Oxford 250 usually has they have this like 60-foot wide fire pit that they just throw old timber in, and they burn that thing all night. Like you can see it. If there's race cars on the track, you can see the flames from the racetrack, probably, half a mile out. And it's,
wow.
It's crazy that, I got some crazy stories from the 250 deal, but me, Bubba Pollard, and a bunch of a couple other people all hung out till 1, 2 in the morning Friday night, and man, we drank all night. We had so much fun. It's a fun deal, and actually that was the most hungover I've ever been driving a race car was that following day.
Of all places, Oxford, the 250 lapper, man.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I could imagine. Oh, that's crazy. So how many do you know as of this moment? How many of the past races you gonna try to run?
Not sure yet. So this race originally was going to be another White Mountain race, which I love White Mountain. I love racing there. But we kind of I think we've won 3 of the last 4 races there, and we've won
such a terrible problem.
6 times there in the last 3 years. So I like racing there a lot, but I don't know. It's not I hate sounding like that, but there's really not too much more to prove there. I don't really have a massive want. I would never hustle to get the car done to race there. I love racing there, but I like traveling all over. As crazy as it sounds, I'd rather go race at a track that I suck at and get better at than a track that we're really good, really good at, and race there. If I could never be a weekly guy, weekly at the same track. I'd have to travel and bounce around a little bit, and so if we're gonna go race Oxford this weekend, then that's fine with me. I'm looking forward to that. And then Pass hasn't really released much else of a schedule. There was a Granite State race at Hudson Speedway, which was my hometown track, and I actually forgot that I went to that race on Sunday. So that race was a pretty good race to go and watch and hang out on. But I mean, that place has come a long ways, and I'm hoping they have a makeup race there for Pass because it was on the schedule and it got postponed. So if they race there, it's game on, and then whatever they come up with, we're going to kind of bounce around a little bit. Hopefully, another 8 to 10 races up here, and then I think we get another 3 or 4 races with the ARCA deal. So hopefully, we'll be busy.
There you go. Well, cool deal, man. Moving on from that, just a minute, if you got time here for just a few more minutes. I don't know if you did you see the announcement this week with Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham and all that cool jazz about the SRX series?
Yep.
What's your take on it? What you thinking?
I've always thought that an idea like that was awesome. I always loved those IROC cars and how those things were freaking awesome. First off, they looked unreal. It was such a cool idea. We always joked around about, so we were part of the KDDP program, Kilwiki program there, and me and a bunch of the drivers had always been why the heck don't they just have 7 late models, put aside for when it's banquet time to go run an exhibition race at Hickory.
That's right.
That way, because everyone always talks about the points and how this driver is better than that driver because that driver did this and that, whatever. And it would be worth some sort of points, if try not to tear each other up, but you know how that goes. But and we always talked about that being a cool idea. So this, Ray Evernham and Tony Stewart deal is going to be cool. To see a guy, I'm sure they're going to put a guy like Kyle Busch in with a guy like Bubba Pollard and Augie Grill, people like that. To see that caliber of racer in a short track scene, and then the NASCAR scene racing in the same cars at the same track is going to be pretty damn cool. And I'm hoping that we get. I'd love to watch. I'd love to get out there and watch a race because they're going to do it at New Smyrna. They're going to do it at some Pensacola, tracks that we've been at. So it'll be a cool deal.
Yeah, sure is.
You took pretty much all the words right out of my mouth because that was my my thoughts myself. Because I used to love the IROC series. I used to love seeing. They put drag racers in the cars. I mean, whoever was champions at the time, let's put them in the car and see what they can do.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool deal. I'm excited. I don't know when the first race is. Is it this year?
No, it's going to be next year. Next summer is what they're saying. They already got TV deal in place with CBS. So that's going to be.
Well, I see it's gonna be.
It don't sound like that them and NASCAR are going to be getting along too well. Is what everybody's putting it out to be. And I know Brett Griffin was even saying that, and he works for Tony Stewart. And he's like, don't sound like you're going to be.
Well, I mean, if it's, I mean, they're not trying to take anything away from NASCAR by no means, but to bring that IROC type series back, and I know it's only a 6-race series right now, but I'd love to see it grow. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's pretty going to be a pile of people watching because there's so many different levels of racing that's going to be involved in it. Like you said, there's going to be probably drag racers, probably late model stars. There's going to be a pile of different guys coming in. That's going to be really neat.
Everybody. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's tell you what we'll do real fast. Let's all three of us here. Since there's going to be 12 drivers in it. We'll let you go first there, Derek. Give us 4 drivers you'd like to see in it. And let's go, since they're saying no NASCAR stuff right now, is how they're kind of saying it. Nobody that's active in NASCAR next year, or in Cup anyway. So give us 4 drivers you think you should be in it.
Okay. I mean, Bubba is going to be a guy for sure. I've always liked those late model stock guys. Those guys can wheel for sure. So a guy like I think his name's like Phil Richardson. Does that sound right?
Yep.
The guy who he drives that red car.
That's it.
He's like champion every year. Yep. So him, man, probably. I know Ty's full time Craftsman truck, so I'm gonna hold off on him because you can't pick him. Augie Grill, I'd probably have to pick him just out of the pure time that he has in a race car. He's got so much time in a race car. And it's hard. I mean, Nassie's going to be on there. I know he's going to be probably racing one of those deals. And he's kind of a who's the guy who, I'm drawing a blank for his name right now, but he drives for Junior Motorsports in those late model stock deals.
Josh Berry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see him for sure.
That was one of my picks, man. I'm just kidding.
All right, go ahead, Sterling. Who you got?
Oh, well,
you're probably going to take half of my picks.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'd say, as far as dirt, I would say like Donnie Schatz would be a really cool sprint car driver. See him kind of come in and mix up with them guys. For a dirt late model guy, I'd say maybe, I don't know if Bloomquist would really do well. So I don't really know if they would, or if he would even want to do it because he's about broke up. But maybe Jonathan Davenport, maybe. And then as far as older Cup, I'd like to see Jeff Gordon back in it. I'd love to see him compete. And maybe Ron Capps. Ron Capps come back in and do it.
Ron Capps be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with, since y'all just left it as low-hanging fruit, because next year he is going to be retired, I'm going to say Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yep.
I'm going to go with, since he's not in there right now, I don't know what next year's holding for him, but we're going to go with it right now since he's not there. Young Money, Kyle Larson. Let's see. Yeah.
I totally forgot about my Northeast boys and the modifieds too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so crazy is, I mean, there's so many and they're only doing 12 spots. Let's see who else I got here. God, y'all took all my good ones I had, and I'm gonna go with Derek Griffith. He needs to be in one.
There you go. Exactly.
There he goes. He needs to
sign
be in
him
one.
up.
Hey,
sign him up. Then we'll go with David Gravel. David Gravel, sprint car guy.
Yeah.
He'd be a good one.
It'll be interesting to see and see how they pick, how they narrow it down to 12 drivers.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I thought maybe it was going to be different drivers, but they're actually doing a point series for it, so it's going to be kind of the same. Once they set the field, that's kind of going to be the drivers for the year.
Yep.
But I did see, and I don't know if you saw, did you see this there? And I haven't really figured out why though. They're also doing crew chiefs. There's going to be 12 crew chiefs also, but they're not exactly pairing them with a single driver. It's going to be right before the race. They kind of just draw names out of a hat and That's how you pick your crew chief.
Huh.
But
Kind of an interesting deal.
that's interesting. But I'm like, well, they're kind of an IROC car, so they're not really going to be doing anything to the car. So I don't know.
Well, I will say that those cars are going to be prepared perfectly because if Ray Evernham's building them, they're going to be nice.
Yeah, it's Ray Evernham's shop, and supposedly it's going to be some kind of car that can run on asphalt, dirt, and run them on road courses. Even they're talking about.
Wow.
So it's going to be kind of cool.
That'd be neat.
Going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to let Derek go get to working on his
We gotta
late
get that
model
race car
here.
ready.
So, what are you doing to it tonight?
We just doing some shock stuff. We got to change a bunch of springs around for that. That place is like there's like no load on anything, so you just got to drive around. And it's funny in the pits, everyone just drags their nose off because of how light the springs are and how pinned down you got to have it to keep the nose down. So working on some shock stuff, working on cleaning it up. We had to put a right front fender on it after White Mountain a couple weeks ago, and
Just throw some more
I've
duct
already
tape on
done
it.
the maintenance stuff. But yeah, just pick away at it a little bit.
There you go.
Good deal, man. Well, best of luck to you. We're going to be pulling for you this weekend, getting ready for the big show.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it for sure, boys. Always a pleasure to be on.
And,
Yeah, man, it's a blast
Whenever
always.
you want to come back on your show here, you can just call us anytime. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, sweet,
oh,
man.
cool, man. Well, we will be pulling for you, and we will be watching it, and but we will let you go here. So we appreciate you coming on again this week, man, and we will be talking with you soon.
No problem. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it for sure, and we'll look forward to talking soon.
So Sterling, you know who's got all the parts for those late models that Derek's gonna be racing this weekend?
I got a good idea who that is. I'm pretty sure that's our old buddy's SRI.
SRI Performance got everything they need. They're their one-stop shop for all things racing.
Every bit of it.
Every bit up. And saw on their social media here just a little while ago that something that is, near and dear to your heart. The good old welding supplies out. They selling welding supplies.
Yes, sir. Hey, well, when you using stock car steel and aluminum, you go over and get your steel. All right, then okay. Well, crap. I need to weld it together.
Shoot back over to SRI.
Shoot right over to SRI and get what you need. They got everything. That's what I'm saying. They keep on adding, Bo. It's just they got it all. They got everything. And I saw also something that they extended for all you guys and girls that's got little kiddos that like to color all over walls and such. They got the contest. They got a little coloring contest. It's supposed to end the 10th of July, but they pushed it on back to the 31st. So you just print the image out, you color it what you want to do. I mean, they just let them go to town, color what they think it needs to look like, and take a picture of the artwork and add it to the comment on the SRI Performance page, and you might win you a little something there. So get them little kids something to do while they bored at home.
Oh yeah, no, that image is on SRI's Facebook.
Yeah, SRI Performance Facebook page.
SRI Performance Facebook. I saw something on there about an engine block on there. What
Yeah,
what
they
got a
sure
good
do,
sell
man.
on a big motor for?
All you Ford guys, all you big motor builders around here, they got a good deal on a Z351 aluminum racing block. $5,600. Tax and freight got to be included in that, or added to that. But some really nice blocks, man. The best you can buy, by all means. So anybody looking to get a good deal on a block, get started, getting you a big motor built up, that's where you need to go.
That's it, man. And as always, SRI is your stop for Draco Springs. Check out their whole PDF files for pretty much anything from, I'm pretty sure, click pins.
Anything you can imagine,
the
they
monster
got.
trucks, I think.
They got in Purple Springs,
In
buddy.
Purple Springs. They get them on your car. Get them on your race car. They will get you around the track, I promise you.
Yeah, they sure will. Don't forget about July promotional rebate still going on for those SCT programmers for your haulers and your buses or whatever. Get you a lot better fuel mileage.
Or you might need to get there fast.
Or you might want to get there fast. You got an option there. Go check them out. You get one, you get a free gift card to Bass Pro or Cabela's. Check them out. Got some good things going right now for July. So there'll be more to come for sure, but definitely go check them out.
Get online at sriperformance.com or either stockcarsteel.com. And while you on there, you need to order anything, make sure to use our promo code. That is CBONE10. C as in
chicken.
Bone, BONE 10. Get on there, get you 10% off of the already good prices, and get you some parts. You know you need them.
Got to get them.
And speaking of SRI, I saw there was a SRI decal on a dirt car, that we've seen winning some races this week.
Absolutely right, man. Hey, what car are they not on that's winning
true.
races?
That's true.
So, I mean, really, we can just name a handful
start naming
right now.
Whoever's won, they probably got an SRI decal.
Probably sponsored by SRI.
But no, I'm talking about the Southern National Series. We talked about it last week with Madden moving from Bloomquist camp over there, from Team Zero over there with Tyler Millwood Motorsports, and he's in a rocket, and I'm gonna tell you what, I can't take nothing away from the man. That thing has been a rocket.
They have been rolling. Well, they hadn't. Take it for what it is. The competition hadn't been to the point of Lucas Oil or World of Outlaws by no means, but
there's been some good racing.
There's been some good racing, and there's been good local boys at these tracks that run there all the time.
Right.
So that that definitely plays a hand too. So, but they've been strong, man. They've come out the box strong, and first race of the series, I was kind of hoping Chris Ferguson was going to show us a little something. He was fast in practice, and
won his heat.
No, but I don't know what happened. He just fell off in the race there. Couldn't get a good start, and it seemed like he loses all of his positions on restarts and starts, and he fights so hard to get them back throughout the race. He don't fire off.
Yeah, the cars seem to always be good on the long run. I don't know. It's kind of weird. He's got to get that start figured out, and when he does that, he's gonna be tough to deal with.
He is gonna be tough to beat.
But I'm gonna tell you what, old big sexy Brandon Overton,
man, he's strong.
He's been strong too.
Well, I think the first race, they had transmission problems, I believe. I think they had to change transmissions.
I don't know if change transmission went backup car, one or two.
It did something.
Yeah.
And he had to start in the rear, or pretty much the rear of that race. And that track was so hard to pass. And he drove it up to third or fourth, all green flag passes and all. I mean, there wasn't a restart, this, that, and the other. He was running them down, and I think if he'd had a caution late, I think he'd have got to Madden there. But and the second night, I think it was, Overton ended up winning that race. Yep. I believe he chased Chris down and passed him, and Chris didn't have nothing else for him at that point. But it's been some pretty good racing. It really has. I'm gonna say the top 4 to 5 cars are contending relatively close to Chris and Brandon. But
had old Hitchcock at I-75 last night.
Yeah,
he put it on them there, but Madden finished second again. He's looking like he's probably going to lock up this championship again. I mean, I know there's a lot of racing still to go, but he's
got 2 wins and 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, it's going to be between him and Brandon, I believe. But I think Brandon's 30, 40 points behind, something like that. I can't remember, but
yeah.
It's gonna be close to that. But I don't know if anybody watched it on Flow Racing TV. Well, speaking of Flow Racing TV, they got the whole series live.
Yep.
For everybody to watch. It's a dirt on dirt broadcast, but they're covering on Flow Racing. Pretty good coverage. They're getting better as the series goes along. But So we watched it last night, but I tell you what, that track, they have done major work. The I-75 Speedway.
They shortened it up big time.
That joker, if it's 0.4 of a mile, Kiss your tail, I don't think it's nowhere near.
No.
That joker's teeny.
It was teeny. I like it, though. I like it.
It's really neat. The way they got it dug out, they got the old walls still up.
Yeah.
And it's dug way down. It's pretty neat. Anybody hadn't seen I-75 Speedway, check it out. The other track, what was the other track they run the other night? That was
had the gap up there.
Yeah, down on it was on the side of a mountain essentially.
That was Wythe.
Wythe, and they dug it out. That was really cool. So those tracks in Tennessee are really neat. Got a lot of high banking, but they end up being real dusty. Seems like they can't keep the moisture in the track, probably because of banking so much.
Well, I think they pack them so hard when you get pressure on that banking, and it just packs it so hard that what sits on top of whatever's packed is turning to dust.
Yeah, sure was. But last night, they run the no walls, of course. That was a lot less banking in that track. It made for pretty good racing. It sure did. It made for really good racing. So,
Did you stay up to watch it all last night?
I did not.
Because I know I fell asleep and have to rewatch all the time and stuff like that. I mean, I was laying there in bed watching, and the sportsman class was out there. Well, all of a sudden, they run like 5 laps, and all of a sudden, everything just pitch black.
Oh, Lord.
The lights went out. I don't know what happened, but it took them about 25 minutes probably to get them back on. And I know them dudes in them cars. I mean, you know how it is. They're, all of a sudden, all the safety vehicles turn on all the lights that they could.
Right.
They'd have to give them a little bit of light, but you know when them lights went out, I don't know how everybody just didn't wreck. Like, I don't know what.
That was a major
crazy.
shock.
Oh, yeah.
That was. But, so, yes, that's been a pretty good series. I think they four races into it now. Wednesday night, tonight's race, I think they're postponing it to Sunday. I think I just saw that. So, but there'll be some more coming up. Like I say, it's 12 races in 15 days. So, it's a lot of racing, a lot of weekday racing. So, it's really neat, especially when you got your Flow Racing TV. When you can use your Apple thing or your Fire Stick or whatever.
Or your Roku or whatever.
Whatever you got, you can put it on your TV and watch. You got live racing to watch during the week. It's really cool. So, I enjoy that. But anyway, on the other side of that, the still dirt, but how about old Kyle Larson, man?
Dude, he just all he does is win.
He does nothing but win. I mean, I saw a stat the other day, and I don't remember exactly, but it was like 30 some odd races, and he finished like out of the top 6.
I think so. He might have had.
And he had flat tires to knowing that.
I saw somewhere he had a 12th place finish one night. Something happened and he had a 12th place finish one night, but I don't even remember when that was. That might have been way back. But regardless, it's absolute. Most of them have been first and seconds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just that's impressive to be able to go and do that, especially with all these guys that run so much up there in the Midwest, whatever that is.
Yeah.
With all these speed weeks and this and that. But, I mean, he's out running Donnie Schatz and
he beat Donnie Schatz last night to win that race. So
yeah, that was a World of Outlaw event, I think. So
yeah, dude is insane. I wish we'd keep up with it. It's so hard right now being a, trying to cover some podcast or trying to cover some races on the podcast here. And there's so much racing going on that you don't know which one to turn to.
Well,
that's why we've said we kind of watching the Schaefer's Oil Southern National Tour, because it's more of the smaller series, even though guys, Brandon Overton, Chris Madden, they got all them guys in.
Right.
But there's so much coverage of the Hell Tour, and there's so much coverage of World Outlaws and Lucas Oil. There's tons of coverage of that, and we love all that too. Don't get us wrong. And when it gets back to those are the typical weekend races, that's what we'll be covering too. But right now, we want to cover the the smaller series and what we can watch on Flow Racing there and all that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's got since June 5th, Kyle Larson has 17 wins and 6 second place finishes.
That's insane.
That is very, very impressive to be able to do that. Really, the most. The crazy thing is, and the most impressive thing with Kyle is they have run so many different tracks, so many different shape tracks, so many different compounds, so many different surfaces, and he runs up front every freaking week.
Dude, it don't matter. It don't matter. I'm pretty sure you could put him on a go-kart out there too, on a dirt track, and he'd run up front and it.
I'm telling you, man, it's really impressive to see him do that. And you know, when he was in the Cup car, he was competitive, and there were certain tracks that he was good at, certain tracks that he wasn't. You could tell. But it kind of goes back to equipment. I mean, how good is that equipment he was in? I mean, now, of course, his sprint cars.
No, yes.
Best you can get,
well,
but
it is. But I'm gonna tell you, don't get me wrong. His sprint car is good, really good. But there's guys that have outrun him, and just like last night, Donnie Schatz they were battling for the lead. So when it comes to that, don't get me wrong, he's got the best of the best equipment, but so does Donnie Schatz. Donnie Schatz has the best of the best equipment also. So to me, when it comes down to that, that's when it comes down to driver ability.
And that's what I'm saying is if in the Cup Series, if he had the same equivalent to equipment,
you'd put him in a Gibbs car.
Exactly.
You'd put him in Kyle Busch's car.
Then it would have been it would have been a driver ability.
Yes.
And I think he would have prevailed tremendously then, because that, like you say, he's in just as good as equipment as Donnie Schatz, Aaron Reitzel, all them guys.
Yep.
And like we said, 9 times out of 10, just about, pretty much, he's coming home with the win. So, very impressive. I look forward to hopefully being able to get to see him in action for too long.
Hopefully too long. And he's another SRI performance guy.
He sure is.
So
they know where to put. We need to talk with them and get some SRI on Derek's shoulder or something. We need to get some SRI on that car.
We got to do something. No, it's good. Or we also need to get Kyle on the show one time. That's
that
what
would
we
be
really
nice.
need.
That would be really nice. It sure would. But
so
there's been a lot of interesting racing. A lot of dirt stuff going on right now. Like we said, there's been some local stuff going on around here. The Fayetteville ran. It got rained out mid race, so that was the whole fiasco.
Yeah, and then Lakeview ran, and I'm sorry because I have not seen who won the $5,000 little sport compact race over there, but they said they had the biggest mess over there, and nothing of the track's fault. At 10 o'clock Saturday morning, it rained 2 inches over there.
Yeah, it was a disaster. I saw pictures in the infield, and it was just
there was people just standing in water. I mean,
it was horrible. Horrible.
That's how our weather's been around here lately. It's just been, it would be 98.7 million degrees, and then all of a sudden it's pouring down rain.
Yeah.
And then it's 457% humidity.
Yeah, that's us. That's us in a nutshell. So, but I know in the news already they talking about demolishing Myrtle Beach. That's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Hate to see that. A lot of big late model races, been there. But hopefully, like we said before, hopefully they're going to get some of those big
marquee
events at Florence, I-95 Speedway. I'd love to see a big super late model race come there and get old Derek to travel down 95 and come run it. That would be really cool. But we'll see what happens there. I've heard all kind of rumors, so I don't want to speak on any rumors. But I've heard that they're going to be doing hopefully all kind of different things with the track to hopefully better it. So hopefully that'll all pay off and they can get some good crowds over there.
Yeah, Florence Motor Speedway might be the happening spot for too long, and we sure hope it will be, because that is literally about 4 minutes down the road from us here.
Yeah, literally.
So we could run over there if we want to, but if you see me running down this road, you better bring the ambulance.
Somebody's chasing him because he ain't running.
He ain't running nowhere. It is too hot.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so we got some stuff coming up tonight. I know we hadn't talked much about it, but tonight the All-Star race is going to be at Bristol.
Is it the All-Star race or is it the Fast and the Furious 400?
I'm pretty sure that they're trying to get the what do you call it? The Nopi Nationals. Pretty sure they're trying to get that involved in with the.
Well, in their defense, I personally, I don't like it myself. I don't need
I like
underglow lights on a race car. I don't need that. Now, in saying that, I was listening to I don't even remember what I think it was Dale Jr. Download. Anyway, Dillner on there, he was talking about it, and it kind of made sense because he said he don't like them either. He said, but his son loves the movie Cars. What was it? Cars 3, I think it was the last one, where it was the new cars coming in. Well, guess what those cars had under them? Lights and stuff up under them. Well, He showed him a picture of them, and he said, oh, that's like, I don't know, whatever one of the new cars' name was on the movie Cars.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, if you can hook a 5-year-old onto racing now, based off just some lights under the car because it looks like something that was on their favorite movie Cars, I'm all about getting new race fans, regardless.
Well, yeah, I guess there's different avenues of gaining.
It's
fans.
not my favorite way either.
Well, I don't know. I mean, for one thing, the All-Star, the Champions Week in Nashville, there's a few of them that had the underglow on there.
Well, and that looked pretty cool just for
and
doing
that looked pretty
burnouts.
cool, but it was dark.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've been to Bristol or not, but they got a buttload of lights around that place. I don't know how you're going to see the underglow that well.
And also, you have a surface that reflects that bright light coming from the top. And so I don't think you're going to see it very well at all.
I don't think you will either. We'll find out. I'm going to check it out here and see. But all that in the shade, I'm kind of glad, I honestly am, that they are moving the All-Star race around. And what better place to have $1 million paying to win race at Bristol? It's pretty cool.
I got a feeling there's going to be a last lap crash regardless.
There's probably going to be a first lap crash.
Somebody is dumping somebody for
crash.
$1 million.
Oh, yes. There might be a fight.
Good.
Might be a.
Speaking of fights, let's talk about the fight this past week real fast. I know we jumped back and forth a little bit. I didn't get to see much of the Xfinity race, but I saw Harrison Burton and Noah Gragson.
Well, let me back up a little bit. Now, I will say, Noah, in my opinion, Noah takes a lot of chances.
He does.
And sometimes they pay off for him. I mean, I've seen him wreck his teammate multiple times.
Well, he does, but he also has most wins in the Xfinity Series this year, don't he?
Well, I think Chase Briscoe's got him.
Oh yeah, Chase Briscoe kind of come up.
I think he's got 2 wins right now. But anyway, regardless, Noah runs really well up front. Seems like at the beginning of every race, he always is there. And then either he'll speed on pit road or he'll get screwed up some kind of way. And then it seems like he tries too hard to get it back, when sometimes the car or the situation or the area he's in won't allow it. Now, that being said, going back and watching that race, him and Harrison went in the corner, and I've watched when there was a race Friday night, same thing with that sticky compound, a VHT whatever, on the second groove and above.
Yep.
The cars, if they sucked up side by side in the corners, you were going to suck them around.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way around it. So,
especially the guy on bottom, you were going to get him loose.
It looked to me like Harrison tried to hold his own and get those, like Derek was saying before, try to get those left sides right below that traction compound. And in doing so, he kind of crowded Noah, which got Noah loose. And at that point, we saw it all night long. You cannot save that car. You got to chase that car all the way to the wall.
That's right. So
that looked like what happened, in my opinion. It looked like what happened. Now, is Noah right every time? No, by no means. But it looked like what happened then. So, and supposedly they had contact prior to at another racetrack in Charlotte or wherever.
Yeah.
So I guess Harrison just had enough of it, he thought. And he he got woke up pretty quick. Looked like
he decided to get a little handsy with Noah, and
he pushed him twice.
That's my thing. Is the first time he pushed Noah, and Noah kind of grabbed his arm. Don't push me. I can see it. Don't push me or don't touch me or something like that. Well, Harrison decided to do it again, and Noah didn't take too kindly that second time.
No, that right hook come quick.
That right hook come quick, and right hook came. Harrison went down.
Yeah,
I don't get. And what was so cool about it is crew members did not jump in it.
Not to start with, they sure didn't.
Well, they come pulled them apart finally, but that was it.
Right.
But they didn't. About like Junior was saying, I heard him on the download. He, they didn't get no fines, nothing from it. He said, so that was good. He said he didn't have no problem with nothing that happened.
Yeah,
so,
I mean it's a racing deal. It is. Now, if he just drove in there and just deliberately turned right and took him out, okay, I could kind of see that more. But it was just a racing deal. Harrison's been finishing poorly past few weeks. He was right in contention, top 3 or 4, to have a good finish, and I think it all kind of boiled down just to he just aggravated. But it's one of them things. That's not going to stop Noah. I don't think Noah cares too much. No. So he's going to go race somebody hard this weekend. I promise you.
Good. I'm glad. I don't want to see him back off from racing somebody hard.
No.
I don't want to see him back off from fighting. I mean, I'm not saying I just want him to go out there and fight, but if you are that passionate about your side of it, and somebody wants to get a little handsy with you, hey, it is what it is at that point.
Fair game. Yeah,
fair game.
Harrison came to Noah's car, so it is what it is. But anyway, so that was pretty cool. I like seeing that. I like seeing the passion in it, like it once was, and I'm glad that nobody got fined. I don't think they should get fined. Not unless you pull a knife out and try to stab them, then okay, you might be fine.
Well, if the whole, I can understand it because I don't like it either when the whole crew jumps in. I mean, yeah, we've been at many tracks and have seen that ourselves, that if one person starts fighting, typically the whole crew jumps in. But that's when people start getting hurt. Now, if it's just 2 guys going at it, no, they don't need fines.
Yeah, just let them do it and let them wrestle around for a minute or so.
Pull them apart eventually.
Pull them apart, and that's what it is. But yeah, you're probably gonna see a little of that tonight. I know a year ago, last All-Star race, we saw some punching and stuff with Clint
Boyer and Newman,
and Ryan Newman last year at Charlotte, and so you might see a little more of that. Who knows?
That would be fun. That'd be fun. We might have to turn it on for a little while. But anyway, guys, well, I think we're about done for the week.
Yep.
Want to give another thank you to SRI Performance, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, and Draco Springs.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Derek, for coming on with us again. It's always cool to have him on and giving his aspect of his weekends at the racetrack for sure. And he's inching closer and closer, man. He's gonna get him one soon.
It's coming. He's got some experience on 1.5 miles now, and that's gonna help him a whole lot for Kansas when he gets there. So it's coming. Want to also throw out there, if you haven't got on it yet, make sure to get on Checkered Race Hub, because they are your one hub for all kind of racing. There's new social media app if you hadn't heard us before. All about racing. It's all racing all the time. That's all to talk about on there. Get on there. Check out Checkered. It helps out your local tracks too. The subscription fee, it all trickles back down to some local racing. Helps all you guys out around here. Also, check out Forward Bite Apparel. They got some cool looking stuff. That's all they were on. Girl I follow down in Florida, Brooke Store. She drives a asphalt, what they consider a outlaw late model down there. So they jumped on with her. They're jumping on a lot of cool drivers. A lot of people are in the Forward Bike Nation.
Yeah, sweet, man. They got some good looking stuff for sure. So definitely go check it all out. And come back and see us next week.
Same time, same place, as far as we know.
Far as we know.
Anyway, y'all have a good week. Go watch some racing. Got plenty on. Got more races on than I think there are days of the week this week. So
yeah, I love it.
Y'all check some of them out. check out on Flow Racing. We're not sponsored by them at all, but we like Flow Racing. So y'all check out Flow Racing. Check out all the other ones. And watch as much racing as you can. But anyway, guys, we're out.
Later.